Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today I have a scenario by Gecko Man called the Supercruiser. The age of the battleship is over, as highlighted by the lackluster performance of Yamato and Musashi in winning the war. The Imperial Japanese Navy has tasked you to design the new supercruisers to knock the US out of the war by sinking their last battleships. You will build 7 supercruisers that should be able to do at least 32 knots, have at least 9 gun barrels of at least 9 inches, and 4 torpedoes per side. Now he says 1945 tech, but the game can only go up to 1940. You'll be facing 3 of the most modern battleships of the US, 1940s tech, which is again the highest as you can go, and their escorts of 1 heavy and 4 light cruisers. The Imperial Japanese Navy has told you that there are only 3 destroyers available to accompany you, and the rest of the Navy is partaking in a distraction operation. This is to pull as many escorts away from the US battleships as possible, and these destroyers shall accompany me. So I also get 3 destroyers. Now I'll be designing the battle cruisers, and of course the US, well, they're supposedly going to be bringing the most modern battleships, but I have no way, shape or form to influence what sort of design the AI comes up with. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to hope that these guys actually build good battleships. Although, on the other hand, I'm not looking for battleships which have the capability of withstanding very, very large caliber guns, or which can just take torpedo after torpedo, because battlecruisers versus battleships, we have seen these fights sometimes, and usually it ends up with a battlecruiser either just completely detonating or sending one or multiple of its own turrets flying. So let's get to designing. And what can I build? The modern battlecruiser hull. Displacement 36,000 to 51,000 tons. Speed should be at least 32 knots. I'm going to go for something like 38. Because the faster I am, the more difficult I am to hit. Bulkheads many. I'm not going to max it out this time. Can I make it bigger? Yes, slightly. Slightly. Alright, gear turbines 2 for the maximum horsepower per ton. Oil, forced boilers. I want a turbo-electric drive 2, which is going to increase turning rate and rudder shift speed. And also help with turret traverse, and if I do take flooding, water pumping. Engine shaft 3. Or propeller shaft 3. Barbettes. Let's go with heavy, otherwise it's going to be really tough. The maximum barbette thickness. Well, on the other hand, it is a battlecruiser. It's not going to be terribly heavily armed. Or armored. Let's go with barbette 4. I'll see if I can make it work. Torpedo. 2. No, that's 3. Triple hull. Let's go for reinforced bulkheads instead of reinforced bulkheads and watertight doors. Flooding 2 and citadel. Turtleback. Alright, electro-hydraulic turrets. And where's my loaders? Here, auto-loaders. These are supposed to be the most advanced cruisers that Japan can field. So let's make sure that they are in fact that. I got the high TNT, which is always a nice option, but I think I'm going to go for 2 powder and boost the amount of shell penetration even more, because I'm trying to pen battleships. Alright, so that's the outlines of the ship. Now to set up the ship itself. You got the modern tower 2 or 1. Looking for long range base accuracy, so that's 42 on the modern tower 2. Secondary tower. Again, long range accuracy. This is +9 versus a +4. It's pretty much a no-brainer, although this one is 3,564 tons versus 2,376. Right. It looks like I have so much real estate in the back here. So much hull that I can build on, and not that much in the front. That's weird. Arguably, I could put this one back here and just put another turret or just a bunch of torpedo tubes up here. Let's see what I can field. It is 1940. Unfortunately, I still don't have the best weapons tech. I'm penetrating or attempting to penetrate high-tier battleships. This is probably going to make the ship way, way too heavy. Yeah, 44,000 tons already. I might, however, just be able to get away with it. One thing that I need to know for certain is that this thing can rotate. Because if it doesn't rotate, then I'm losing out on a lot of firepower. I need to put it forward more. The problem is, the more I put it forward, the more difficult it'll be to balance out that stern turret. Yeah, this is going to be a big mess. One thing that might work is to have another turret up here. Preferably a free spinning one, although I don't think that that's going to be working. And by doing that, allow the ship to be kiting away from the enemy. That doesn't fit. Engine efficiency 58.9. Oof. Arguably, you can fit another small funnel here, but the tower doesn't like it. So what am I supposed to fit there? Because there is this plus icon. Oh, they also removed my little gimmick of just turning the funnel around. Really, guys? Was that really required? I was having fun with those side-mounted funnels. Okay, so I'm supposed to have at least 9 guns of 9 inches or greater. Well, I think 18 inches should do it. And then torpedo tubes. How am I going to make these things fit? If it is in fact going to be one of these ships that'll try to run away from the enemy, so kite away, then I think something like this is going to be helpful. That's not going to interfere with the turret too much? I hope not. What do I want? If I go for these, I'm losing out on a bit of range, but it's not terrible. It's still 12.3. Oxygen is 21.4, which I think is better. It gives me more range from the enemy. And by doing that, I'll hopefully mitigate my chances of getting hit. Because if one of these battle cruisers gets hit, well, you can bet your ass that it's going to go flying. Long range armor, so that's going to have to be a lot of deck armor. But I don't think anything can actually stand up to what I'm going to need. Because if it is plunging fire at a range of 20,000 meters, a deck is going to have to be comprised of 28 inches of armor. And I only have 8. So that's amusing, but definitely not enough. If I up the displacement to full, I'll be able to tack on a bit more armor. See if I can get 8 on the belt, 4 on the, yeah, and a bunch on the turret. 11 inches on the turret. Turret top also needs to be protected before this thing just detonates and flies off. Oh, too much. 7 inch. Right. It's only 120 million a pop, these ships. They are not very good at defeating lighter ships, but fortunately they only have 1 heavy cruiser and 4 light cruisers as escorts, and I'm not actually trying to tackle any destroyers. So yes, I will be relying on these 18-inch guns, but I'll have a lot of my cruisers. So hopefully it'll be enough. I think this is what I'm going to have to run with. This is it. Range 33.6, reload 47.2 seconds. Accuracy, meh. There's no real other way of putting it, it's just meh. Hopefully it will get boosted by the radar and the proved rangefinder. And these are definitely going to be kiting away from the enemy. So probably in a position like that, where the enemy would be on this area. I can use the torpedo tubes, I can use the 18-inch gun turrets on the stern, And the one on the bow is not going to be terribly useful, I think. Let's see if I can balance it out. Yeah, 0.7 I can live with. Let's go. Now, starting range is going to be 20,000 meters, so we'll probably immediately be in range. Stop. What's my formation? I got the Kaimon, Mizohu, and Hijiri. And over here, the Heian, Shiomi, Wakamiya, and Kita. And we got the destroyers Oyashio, Hayashimo, and Take, which fire to a range of 14.8. So the battle cruisers have more range, torpedo-wise. What's the formation of the American fleet like? They're heading away. Hold on. What sort of a weird design is this? How do you balance this? Because it has no stern turret. I think this is the first time that I've seen the AI design a ship without a stern turret. And yes, this is a stern turret, but it's a secondary, so I'm not really counting it. So this is supposed to be one of the most modern US battleships. Alright. Then we got the light cruisers. They had 4 light cruisers. These are light cruisers. Yes, very light indeed. Holy shit, what is that? And then there's a heavy cruiser. Heavy cruiser in brackets. Right. Well, I am actually in a pretty decent position because I'm trailing them. I'm following them. And if I can keep that up for a while, I'll be able to get quite a bit of damage out. Torpedo range is actually 14, or at least that's the range to target. Let's immediately start by popping smoke. How am I going to play this? I can have one of the battlecruiser groups go starboard, and one continue on its course, and just wait for the Americans to turn around. When they have turned around, I'll turn my ships around, and start using the sterns. So you guys are going to slow... No, actually, no, you're not going to slow down. You're going to keep powering on. You guys will slow down to 30 knots, and turn starboard. And the destroyers can make 38 knots. And they'll move in as well. Don't send out any torpedoes yet, because there are friendly destroyers in the way. And all of you engage the trailing battleship. We already have shells incoming. Oh. Secondaries. Pretty long range secondaries at that, if they can hit out to 14 kilometers. The battlecruisers are engaging, but only with their bow turrets, as the sterns don't have anything yet. %8 accuracy already, but I already took my first hit and I'm on fire. Lovely. At least it was not a damaging hit. Now I'm very interested to see what these American battleships are going to do. They're turning to starboard, trying to get their guns to bear. Alright. If that's the deal, then I'm going to have to turn this whole battlecruiser group around. And make sure that I don't present too much of a target. And the Kaimon, Mizuho, and Hijiri are going to keep going. Light cruisers and heavy cruisers are not a threat. I just need to sink the battleships. Because my loss condition for this scenario is I will lose if I lose more than 3 cruisers. So more than 3 of my battle cruisers and it's done. I'm out of the fight. Nothing yet. It is an interesting build, this one. With the turrets pretty far spread out, like that. I have hit, but I didn't actually do anything. Now, a problem that I'm facing with torpedoing these guys is that the light cruisers probably all have hydro or some other way of defeating torpedoes, or rather spotting them before stuff starts to actually impact them. Nevertheless, if I send out enough torpedoes, I might be able to overcome that. The range from my destroyer is 12.6, which means I am in range. And we do have a lot of torpedo launchers. Like a lot. That's 20 torpedo tubes per ship. Sweet. And I can send out 80 torpedoes total, if I live long enough. Alright, let's head to starboard. Line up all the ships, and then see if I can start getting some torpedoes in the water. First bit of damage against the enemy battleship has been done, and she has lost her fire control. Or at least it has been damaged. Battlecruisers are still trying to move through their turn. That means that I should now start to bring those stern guns to bear. Yeah, stern turrets are rotating. In the meanwhile, the other group is still pushing on. Ooh, good work. I've inflicted some decent damage, including a flooding. Destroyers, report. Oyashio is taking heavy fire from secondaries and light cruisers. This is going to be your target. Come on. I need to get through that turn so I can start landing 60 torpedoes on this whole fleet. Or launching, at least. Maybe not landing. But then again, I don't need to land all of them. Uh-oh, smoke's clearing. Send when ready. Maybe just make it an aggressive launch. Just point in general direction of enemy and send it before the Oyashio is going to sink. Turn it back. Hayashimo. New target. That one. Torpedoes away from the Hayashio. Take. Oh damn, that battleship got hurt. Looks like the Take is still awaiting her turn. Quite literally, she's still waiting to power through her turn in order to lock those or launch those torpedoes. Come on, girl. No. It's the 5-inch guns. I don't need the 5-inch guns, I need the torpedoes. It looks like this American battleship is already going to be sinking. I still haven't identified it yet. It is coming at me though, but with a severe list. But then again, in the worst case scenario, if all these ships are firing, that's this group alone, that's 27 18-inch guns. And that's just one group. If I have all 7 ships firing at her, that's 63 18-inch guns. And currently I have set all ships to be firing at her. So there is bound to be something hitting her at any given moment. And 18-inch is really hard to defend against. There, a couple more fires, a bit more flooding. I'm kind of wondering when these when the light cruisers are going to be detecting the torpedoes. Oof. I need to get the Kaimon out of here. Alright, we sunk one battleship. Let's see if we can make this thing a bit of a snack. Get out, get out, get out. Stop wiggling your formations around, because it's only going to get you killed. Here are the torpedoes. Waves 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure if they're going to be detecting it. And I don't think it'll hit the lead battleship, but it will definitely hit the Maryland, the second one. 18-inch guns. Alright. 8-inch secondaries. Torpedo tubes. Out to a range of 7.7. But how did they balance this ship out? I just can't figure that out. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just did not balance the ship out at all. Because without a stern turret, you're losing out on weight somewhere. So maybe they already have some sort of backward list. Have they detected the torpedoes? No, they have not. Kaimon status. Falling back. I'm going to detach the Kaimon from the division. And just tell it to get the hell out. There goes the Hayashio. That was a disaster waiting to happen. Slow down. Heian, Shiomi, Wakayami, and Kita are set to disengage, but they're a bit too far now. Oh, buddy. Maryland is going to have a really bad day. 5 torpedoes have hit the ship. 6 torpedoes even. And once again, the AI has designed, in all of its wisdom, a battleship with minimum bulkheads. Kentucky just took a standard hit, 18-inch guns. And it looks like the Maryland might get hit again. Yeah, another 2 torpedoes. 3 torpedoes. And she's lumbering into the 4th one, which she narrowly avoids. So the Maryland is not going to be surviving. That was a really quick kill on that battleship. Looks like the Japanese cruisers are going to have an absolute field day with the Americans here. Now, I need to be chasing it down. If it's turning away, I need to chase it down. Because if it's turning away, it has no 18-inch guns to fire at me with. Kentucky. Kentucky Fried Battleship very soon. Hijiri is taking some decent damage. Hold on. If I tell you to retreat, I kind of expect you to go the opposite direction. Oh, Kaimon's rudder is damaged. Right. There goes Take. Kentucky has taken some damage. Can we safely launch torpedoes with these ships? Possibly. Send against the Washington. Torpedoes away from Hijiri and from Mizuho. The Oyashio is the only surviving destroyer at the moment. And the battlecruisers are all lining up for another attack run. The Kentucky is taking a severe beating. She's on fire in several locations. What's her armor like? 18 inches top, but that's 13 inches. Sorry, 18.5 on the turret. 13.6 on the belt, though. How much damage do I do? Mid belt, partial pen. Secondary tower, over pen. Stern deck extended, pen. Secondary gun, penetration. So I'm landing somewhere between the deck and the belt at this range. That's good to know. Now, these light cruisers are packing torpedo tubes, but only a few. Let's see if I can get rid of one of these light cruisers. Ideally the heavy cruiser, but it only has 7-inch guns, so I'm not terribly afraid of it. About that. I'm not terribly afraid of the heavy cruiser anymore. I think I'll live. And the Northampton sinks to structural damage. AKA, it got hit by one 18-inch shell and decided to just take a massive penetrating hit for 3,820 damage. Maybe I built these things slightly overpowered. There are still supposedly torpedoes in the water. Mine, that is. Yeah, here they are. They're not very quick, though. 47.5. Next target, Indianapolis. And in the meanwhile, the Heian should be able to close in on that battleship. Range, 20.9. Increase the flank. Chase it down. I know that means I don't have as many guns, but I cannot do 38 knots in reverse, so I'm going to have to just do it forward. Indianapolis. What are you powered by? 7-inch guns, 3-inch secondaries, 2-inch secondaries, and torpedo tubes. Now, I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. If I have cruisers which were specifically designed to take out battleships, then I think 18-inch guns would be acceptable. But the way that they're performing against the American fleet is just flat out overpowered. It's just ridiculously strong. And with 63 of these guns, okay, maybe a few less, because I had to have one of the battlecruisers disengage. Although I wouldn't be surprised if she's still shooting. No, she's trying to hit the battleship. That's not working. Try to hit the Indianapolis. It's still a load of firepower. Arguably, the Americans could not have survived this. If I'd have gone with something smaller, though, then I probably would have had a very, very different outcome. How's that battleship doing? Kentucky. The Kentucky has not taken any more hits recently. Accuracy on my ships is not fantastic. But then again, I'm trying to hit it at 20 kilometer range. 22, in fact. So I just need to get closer. I'm not going to let the Oyashio do another attack. I'll just have her disengage. Because at the moment, I think it's a bit too hot with all the light cruisers around. Torpedoes? Where are they at this point? Here. Indianapolis sinks to structural damage. Or in plain terms, she got hit once. Next are the Galveston and the Roanoke. Here's one of the torpedo sets. Where's the other one? Curious. Not sure. Let's put it to ×2. Sometimes you can see the battleship, sometimes you can't. I mean, I can see it, but the HUD isn't always showing it. What's her speed? 32? 23 only. So she's not doing full speed. Now my battle cruisers will have taken some damage, but they'll have sunk a couple of very heavy American battleships. Because these guys displace 52,000 tons. Oh, that's not too much less than my ships. Or too much more, because I'm doing 51,000 tons. Now the thing with this scenario is that it's called the supercruiser. There goes another light. One thing that Gecko Man didn't particularly specify is whether by supercruiser he meant battlecruiser, which was my assumption, or if he meant actual heavy cruiser. So like building a modern heavy cruiser. If I'm reading supercruiser, I think battlecruiser, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Now I am kind of concerned about the Mizuho. Let's have her disengage. Increase the flank if you still can. And the Hijiri is also flooding. Maintain pressure on the Galveston. Torpedoes are on the way. But I think the Galveston will have already spotted those. She hasn't. She does have sonar too. She should be seeing these any moment now. Because they're getting very close. I know that they're stealthy torpedoes though. If the Galveston turns the way that she is, to the right, she's going to be fine. If she continues turning to the left, she might still get hit. This torpedo, and I think I only need to get lucky once. Because I am running with 18-inch torpedoes. They're not stellar, they're not very big, but they're mostly there to just slow down big targets. There we go. Kentucky's down to 63%. Galveston has still not spotted the torpedoes. Despite the fact that they came that close. Interesting. I'm now at 7.7 kilometer range. Don't launch. The torpedo tubes that she has, they are 22 inch. So if I get hit by one of those, I'm going to be in a world of hurt. Mizuho is disengaging and still using those stern turrets to put the screws on the Galveston, which very narrowly gets avoided. The battleships have automatically selected, or battle cruisers have automatically, selected HE. Yeah, an 18-inch high explosive shell. There was really only one way that that was going to go down. Alright, range to the battleship, 16.7. Am I also using the stern turrets? Let's see. I don't think so, actually. No. So if I turn out a bit more, I might be able to use those stern turrets. Pen chance, 76%. Sweet. Ammo detonation. Still no shots. Arguably, I should have a shot right now. Kentucky is still trying to return fire against one of my battle cruisers. She has a good accuracy. Come on, now we should be firing. There we go. The Shiomi and other trailing battle cruisers are going to have to wait their turn. Ship has taken some flooding and a bit of engine damage. Speeds reduced to 22 and dropping. Ooh, that looked painful. What the hell? That looked really painful. Hold on a second. What happened to you? You got hit for 441 mid-belt, and then another time for 364. And that caused a lot of engine damage, flooding, rudder damage even. Kentucky is flooding quickly. Minimum bulkheads on a battleship is not a good idea. Now, as for my score, I have most definitely won this fight. I have all of my battle cruisers alive. Some of them are going to need repairs, like the Mizuho, the Kaimon, and the Hijiri. But the high-end Shiomi, Wakayami, and Kita are perfectly fine. They would be ready to go out in a moment's notice. Sure, they might need to stock up on shells again, but outside of that, they're good to go. One weakness for these ships, I imagine, is destroyers. Because they are really, really big cruisers, but they're just armed with 18-inch guns. And if the Japanese Navy, as they say, has tasked me to design supercruisers to knock out the US by sinking their last battleships, this is what they might have come up with. But I doubt that they'd be giving me 7 of these ships. That feels like a bit too many. She's definitely fighting the flooding. Buoyancy is steady until she gets hit again. They're also fighting a lot of fires. And she's almost out of 8-inch shells? What the hell? Oh, Hijiri is taking a bit of damage. What was she firing again? 18-inch guns. And it just bounced off the port side of the Hijiri. Look at that. That was not the bounce, that was the actual damage. But this apparently was just enough angling to allow those shells to ricochet. Very soon we're going to see the Kentucky slip beneath the waves. Look at how peppered her port side is. Impact, impact. All over the place. Hold on, I gotta take a picture of this. It reminds me of, you guys might know this. The battleship Texas was in World War II in Normandy assisting with doing shore bombardments and such. And at some point she ran out of range. She couldn't elevate her guns high enough. So the story has it that what happened was that she flooded a torpedo blister, causing the ship to list a little more, just a few degrees, and then she could hit targets farther inland. And it looks like the Kentucky is trying something similar, although not really by her own volition. This is definitely my doing. the killing blows might currently be in the air. She's down to 2% buoyancy. Fractured the armor. Close. Come on, let's get rid of her. There she goes. So, the Japanese, according to this scenario anyway, have sunk the last of the US battleships. I have not lost any of my cruisers. I have lost 2 of my destroyers. But then again, that was perfectly within acceptable margins of this scenario. Thank you, Gecko Man, for coming up with the scenario. I know it took you a few times. I have seen this super cruiser scenario pitched quite a few times. But you finally made it, so congratulations on that. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the scenario. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I'll see you guys soon for more videos.